Afghanistan, a distraction or a cluster? So US President Joe Biden, with no notice, pulls his troops out of Afghanistan. Now, what are the implications of this? Well, so much for the special relationship as us Brits are literally caught with our pants down, not to say that the Afghans were too. But what's the motivation behind Joe Biden making such a decision? Now, one of the things that's now coming out is that Britain will have to take around 20,000 Afghan refugees. Now, I've got a bit of a split mind on this. Let me explain. I do believe that there are Afghans that were loyal to the Western forces, and I think that we should, we do owe them a debt. Now, how we repay that debt, I don't know. But I do think we need to remember who this new government now that apparently we're willing to do business with by the name of the Taliban, well, how are they going to treat them? They don't have a good track record for human rights, do they? Especially if you're gay, especially if you're the wrong type of follower of Islam, etc., etc. But none of this seems to be being reported in the mainstream media. Shocker. But one of the things that's annoyed me today was Boris Johnson's promise to give them millions and millions of pounds. Now, I didn't think that we negotiated with terrorists. I can't imagine Margaret Thatcher wanting to do a deal with a bunch of hoods and Neanderthals like the Taliban. But there you go. But where's the motivation behind Joe Biden just pulling out all of a sudden? Now, we're not in a pandemic anymore. We're not. If you look at the death rate figures now, I can't see it I can't see a pandemic. Now, what a perfect distraction for the world Afghanistan potentially is. Now, no one gives a shit about Afghanistan 3 weeks ago, but today it's on every front, of all the newspapers. What significance does Afghanistan have to Britain's, day in, day out? There's terrorism anyway. It can't be stopped. We've got 23,000 jihadis, or maybe 30,000, whatever the figure is now, in Britain. So it sounds to me like we've got as many jihadis here as there are in, the Taliban in Afghanistan. But anyway, no one seems to be pointing that out. I do find that the Western world now could just do with a distraction away from this non-pandemic that we're in now. And Afghanistan, to me, looks suspiciously like it's going to be the distraction that they're going to use. Who on earth would negotiate with the Taliban, with their track record, throwing homosexual people off the rooftops, stoning children, little girls for wanting, for the crime of wanting to read, killing people for the crime of wanting to leave the religion altogether. Executing people for being the wrong type of Muslim. It just goes on and on. Now, the problem I have with bringing over 20,000 Afghans to this country is that whilst many were our allies, the way that their cultures and the way that they live are very, clash with ours. We don't marry children off. The people don't accept the removal of the clitoris when they hit the age of 9. All of these religious acts are the norm in Afghanistan, but they're not here. We treat women with just as much respect, as men. But we're talking about importing, a culture into our country that they don't have those beliefs. They are, whilst they're religious fundamentalists, they were religious fundamentalists on our side of the argument. But so were the Taliban back in the 80s, before the Americans did the dirty on them. And of course, Osama bin Laden and all of his lunatic friends were shit on by the CIA in the United States and became our enemies. But, you know, that's another piece of military history that seems to have been forgotten. Now, I'm very concerned that the focus is not here. The focus is not what's good for this country. That our government's focus, Boris Johnson, his government, the senior civil servants, arseholes, everything that they do is detrimental to the British way of life. Yeah, 16,000 homeless veterans, they couldn't give a fuck. Industrialised child rape still going on today, they couldn't give a damn about it. It just goes on and on and on. I saw a press release this morning saying that, and I think I've mentioned this before, that UK pensions now, we're one of the worst in the Western world in looking after our pensioners. And remember the pandemic, we've got to look after the vulnerable. Sorry, as soon as Boris said that, I knew the game was up. So, is Afghanistan a distraction from this pandemic, or is it just a cluster